Oh, what's good? I'm a Valorant coach, and I'm sick of people in my ranked games not knowing how to play agents at the most fundamental levels. So I'm making a basics guide, starting with Fade. Probably gonna make a whole series about every agent. Let's see how this goes for the first try. All right, Fade. What do? We have Prowlers, we have Seizes, we have Eyes, we have an ult that takes sight really well. See this word right here? Info. Very important. Very, the main reason why you play this agent. Good maps for her. We have Bind, obviously, Corrode, and probably the best is Lotus right now. Sunset can be played, but Sova is a little bit better, so I'm not going to go over that. But let's start out. We'll start out with Bind. Let's start out with your main job as Fade, in just a general sense, not map specific, is to have quick responses to what space your enemy is taking, and being able to use her utility that's more close quarters and quicker acting to clear them, fight back, at least somewhat contest or get some spam kills, right? That's why you play her over Sova on these close quarters maps. And with this type of util, you have to
There's
think a
truth
little
in
bit
every
more
dream.
than Sova
If you dig
because
deep enough,
it is
let's find out what they
a
buried.
little more intentional on where
My
you use
ult is
it.
ready.
Sova's shock darts, you just fling them, dart just goes on the wall. Fade, things have to, your eye has to land on things. So your positions matter a little bit more, and your agent knowledge matters a little bit more. So on Bind, a common position to play is here right outside in showers and in showers, because contesting here with a duelist or whatnot, using eyes, spot out showers early, and fight this with your teammate is really convenient.
Careful
Grabbing the
here.
orbs, obviously, really good ult, you want to farm that. And just playing in an area like this, if you have someone to hold your back, you can stall the plant really well with C's, and I mean, this is more of a map thing than an agent thing, but
There.
holding this area on bind is really good. And if you can't hold it and you end up getting, like, separated from your backside players, you can easily, take the space back with a dog and some kind of other util, like raise nade if you spot someone in the corner or whatnot. And obviously this gives access to the teleporter, where traps are really good with this agent because of seizing brings people down to 1 HP. Playing here, close short isn't bad. You get, like, obviously good info on this early line, and it's not, like, too strenuous to back up and play, like, spam through the short smoke. And you have some, like, just great easy eyes to throw. They're walking out, and this is obviously a great place to throw C's. But if you end up having to come over to B for some reason, contesting in hookah is great because you can just jiggle angles with the C's out, and in general, you have a lot of stall util, right? If you see someone they actually just cannot do anything, let's say you call for a supportive smoke, right? They still can't really push you because you just absolutely scan everything. That's why she's a lot better than Sova on some of these maps, just because, extra sight hold util, and the util just slots in better, like all these close areas. Attack side, you really only have to know a couple things, and it's just about conserving your dogs and, using your util with intention. Like, a dog to clear all of close short is really nice, but if you're rushing, then you obviously don't really need that, because this person here is probably gonna get ran down. So, you have to think about not only what you're gonna be doing, what your teammate's gonna be doing, the overall strat, right? If you're fast rushing A, starting from this right side here is really good. So you can throw I over the top, and then scans all of close, and lands behind the people contesting short, which is really nice. And, just being able to hop out of short and use dogs to clear all lamps, and, having your strict showers players pinch off your second dog this way or whatnot. I mean, it just gives great combos with everything. The agent itself is not, the best fighting, but with Raze, with Brim, lots of stall, lots of trap plays, and that's why she really fits well on Bind. And there's 4 lanes, so in response to the attackers taking one, usually defenders have to keep some kind of info. So re-clearing long, I mean obviously they have long, you're not gonna be sitting guarding, but just getting close on the smoke and prowling here, throwing I through TP, kind of replacing what Sky would do back in 2023, but it's a little bit better now because Yoru is more in the meta, and people are still running double controller without flashes. And Fade really just fits into any of those comps, but I think Bind is the map she's needed the 100% least on right now, out of the 3 that I said, because Sky comp, Sky Gecko comps, or even Sky double controller comps are still really needed. And some people are running like a double Senti with Deadlock Vice, like Trace, and that works really well too. But it's really just what kind of agent pools you have and what your game plan is for the map. But there's no real specific lineups for Bind. You kind of just throw shit on top of the buildings. Corrode, newest map in the game. A lot of people don't understand it yet. You got people trying to run Sova, but I believe Fade is much better because mostly of mid and how small the choke points are. There's lots of area to clear, and a single dart and drone can't really do it. So being able to off-rip use I is really nice. And
They think they can steal from us? Adilan.
having
This
2
fun.
dogs
My ult is ready.
is really nice. That's why I think Fade and Sova are the only 2 agents right now, along with Omen and Viper, that I've just like insta-picked on every single map. It's just because, you know, you can eye over this, take A main really easily. I mean, you can eye. I have an eye lineup that lands right here in the mid, scans everything. On B, you have this entire top platform, which is literally made for Fade eyes to be thrown on. And obviously clearing all of mid gets a little difficult if you're not running a Viper comp that you can wall up and, you know, 3, 2, 1, drop it, clear everything together. But just flicking the dog around to clear everything is really easy. But a mistake people make a lot is just throwing dogs willy-nilly. You have to have intention. You have to have somebody peeking off it. Because if you're dogging a spawner, right, and you see someone, what happens? They're just gonna stand there, they're gonna shoot 2 bullets at it, and then they go back to holding their angle. You have to have somebody ready to swing, 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 swing off every angle, which is a large part about, I mean, every agent in this whole game in general, but especially the initiators, is comms, you know, being clear on what you're doing, being clear on where util's going, on the timing about it. If you say something, then make sure you're telling like 3, 2, 1, or you're saying let's go after something ends, or like some kind of timer maybe. But yeah, just taking space with Fade is much easier than Sova. This lineup is also just, you go against this wall and then you line up this with the edge of the roof and you just jump through. The agent again it just slots in well. You can see like just wherever areas you're stalling out. If you're trying to contest early on B main, whatnot, you throw this, you have like a raise nade or something. Because raise is also pretty good on this map. Yeah, there's not much you need to know. It's kind of fits in easy. You just have to be intentional and take a couple seconds and look around, see where you go, see where you can throw your util. And on defense, you gotta kind of choose your positions wisely, like I said, because for closer range util, it's not as easy as attack, where you can just kind of follow up on your duelist. I think this yard and A-Link area is probably the best, because how easy it is to just instantly clear all of A main with an eye. Like, not off round start, but if they try to take it off round, off barriers, but like, you have some kind of fight going on, you're playing here, and you can help support your teammates here, but also because of this mid info. Obviously, this whole map is based around this mid area. and this dog just clears literally all of this close angles instantly, and you can kind of tell numbers if multiple people shoot at it, but there's no point in throwing an eye because somebody can see, because that can happen, and somebody can see this a mile away. And I mean, if they're tucked there, that won't spot them. If they're tucked against this wall, that might not spot them. And obviously, they can just call for one person to shoot at it. And the eye is better used for, like I said, the small choke points. Everybody has to, if they're not splitting A, which they will often do, so you have to, you know, kind of play your life, manage your spacing, basically. Or visualize where your enemies are spacing. Because if they're running a Viper comp, they're walled up here, off rip, you can get walked on pretty fast. You know, it's walk fast, but it happens. And you kind of have to back up to this yard area, and this sight smoke right here is really great. I think for my next basics guide, for like when I do Omen, obviously I'm gonna have to go through every fucking map because this character is broken, but this is a smoke people need to be throwing on like attack and defense. Like on eco rounds, you kind of just need to group up, rush elbow, and just smoke this and hold it. Or like on defense, try if they have like a crazy ult round, like on fade, ulting all of here is nice, or ulting all of here in the elbow is nice. But whichever way you go, you kind of need to take this space, or else playing in sight is really hard without having this doorway control. Because you obviously can't really take this CT space as easy, and planning here is really, really risky. And playing post plant from here, like you can plant it all the way out to here, and get like spots from all these, like it's so much easier to play out of the site on A. And your C's is really just it's not it's not something you can like always plan on. This is the most like I'd say high scalability of this Fades kit. And it's the same way as Omen Paranoia. It's a really strong ability, and you kinda can't average players will spam it, but good players will use it at the perfect time. Like, you know, off round start, if they're taking B main, you can obviously seize and stall them out. But the same thing as an Omen Paranoia. It stalls them, but like, they got a good piece of util out, and maybe it's not a full hit anyways. So you can kind of try to keep it for the sight hit, almost like a molly, but use it in an area like this, where like everybody's guaranteed to get hit. It gives a lot more value. And like, even saving 1 out of the 4 pieces of util, or just having your eye recharge in a clutch scenario is really, really nice. Because in like, any 2v2 can be just flipped instantly off one ability, no matter which side has better positions, which side has post plant, which side's whatever. One really well placed ability from almost any agent can flip it. Like saving Omen Paranoia in a 2v2 is just almost unlosable if your teammate jiggles them and then you just blind at least one. You can isolate fights, right? Same thing with a piece of fade util, like say they're retaking from opposite lanes here. If you have a dog still, like, boom, you just cleared out all of close, all of this site area, and peeking this crack back site, which is a really common angle. You kind of, not saying like be scared to chuck your util, because obviously the next map we're going to, Lotus, you kind of have to sometimes, but don't be afraid to have it as long as you live and play off it. Next will be Lotus, which I think is the most needed map for Fade right now at the moment, because every other map you can kind of run some not like bad or like weird comp, but like an off meta comp for every map. But I think for Lotus, if you're not running a Fade, you might be trolling because of how good flooding is with this map, and how good fighting on A is, and just how large the areas you kind of need to clear are. So, like a single Sova drone to take all of Mound, or a dart to take all of Mound, just feels like you're using so much of your kit just to take an area that you have to have every single attacking round. So
My ult
let
is
me
ready.
let me just see. Like using a single eye or a single dog and just,
Where
you know,
are you?
throwing it up here, like, and like guaranteeing the space and like being able to peek off it is, it
There.
feels like less valuable than a Sova Dart because you still have all of this other util, and your ult is like much better for sight hitting. But when you're defaulting with Fade, this actually should go for all maps. Your eye needs to be used off right. This goes for like every rechargeable agent with good rechargeable util. You should be using an eye or whatever your agent has to take the initial space.
I'll
Because if you're
find
gonna
you.
default and you're gonna eye this, 45 seconds you're gonna get it back. But why would you default,
Bring
throw
them
dog
down.
here, and then, wait for the call to like go re-clear A or pivot into a quick B hit through the door,
There.
right? Why would you do that with a dog and still have your eye just sitting here for nothing? But if you are going for a fast C hit, this is kind of a specifics tip.
Bring them
You want
down.
to do a dog if you're gonna hard commit to fighting the space and gonna follow through with it because it's quieter. So if somebody's playing,
There.
backside
There.
bend or like pillar, they might not hear it. Um, and also it latches on and will chase people, so it kind of makes it a little bit harder to just like shoot one bullet at it. And eye for
I'll
sight
find
hits
you.
is just so good, being able to like force people to back up to like an easy position to hit with the rest of your
Hold.
util is just it's why it's better than Sova on this map, because a single dart will clear out all of Mound and a single dart can
There.
clear out all of C, but you just don't have as much other util to follow it up with. And I mean, on A, it's also kind of the same way, where if you're hard fighting, a C's
Them.
like sending it over rubble here, stopping
There.
everybody from scaling
There.
past this line, besides, like a raised double satcheling and whatnot. It's if you're gonna hard commit to the fight, it's almost unstoppable. And if you're just
Where are
defaulting,
you?
an eye like this just scans so much.
There.
You know, if they're
There.
trying to tuck close,
There.
if they're trying to get
There.
like on top or play one of these off angles, if they're just like if they're in
Where are you?
if they're peeking wide
Careful here.
outstairs, it doesn't spot them because there's obvious our range. But you can just, if you're defaulting, you obviously are going to do this close smoke, or like you have some kind of intention to take this
There.
space, which you might need to just be aware of. And the rest of your util also, like an ult here, they can be drop, but being able to ult, like, it's a lot more flexible. And just being able to, like, if you have some kind of a scuffle, you're fighting here, whatever, goes down, it's like 3v3, 3v4, whatever, being able to just like run it down, pop ult, and like fast,
My ult is ready.
fast like speed up commit off it is really nice. So your ult kind of needs to be farmed, but like obviously you should probably be prioritizing whatever kind of ults you're close to or whatever you have a game plan for. And this is especially important on B, but on every dog you ever use, you need to be flicking it around corners. Like, a lot of people use a dog and they'll only clear here. Like,
Bring them down.
a bad Fade player will do this. A great Fade player will clear everything,
Bring them down.
right? It doesn't, it has a wide LOL, like, range, so it'll hit anything close, and it can
There.
clear behind this box. But you have to, like, you know, give it some oomph. And, like, alright, let's talk about defense. Not trying to make this too long. When you're fighting, hard committing, and you have like a read they're gonna be here, you should be using C's. Like I said, like with the dog thing. But most of the time, when you're like just soft minning, oh yeah, I'm good. Trust me. Trust me, I know how to play this agent. you should be using I and going over here to break door because of your flood potential and your close range util, right? If you have a player playing rubble, you can easily, help them clear out route if they spot somebody but don't know like whether they're
Bring
hard
them
holding
down.
them or they're gonna commit to the fight or whatnot. And obviously, just coming into
Take
B,
hold.
you can seize and spam anything. Total tech
Find
right there that spots things. Um, and just, being in a good position to also come over here and like
Bring them down.
pre-clear important areas like front B, which allows easier rotates, which allows faster floods into C, which just means you're gonna win more defensive rounds. On an attack side of the map that most people are running double duelist on, it's really important to understand your role of clearing the question marks and just not being content unless you have an extreme amount of space. Like, having somebody hold this deep line on Rumble is just so amazing. And if your Sentinel is just not full forced off C, that's another amazing thing. But obviously not all that's going to happen every round. And being aware of gaps and just, being that one agent to look at your minimap all the time, right? You can fight second, it's not baiting, it's trading, and like you can play for the clutch, you can, you know, just be the second guy because you're also looking at minimap helping everybody else. Like just focus on their crosshair and you can calm for everything. It really helps. I mean, there's not much interesting stuff to go on with this agent. You just kind of use the util where it's needed. I mean, I don't know. Not a great teacher, but it kind of just you kind of just have to flex to whatever situation you're at. Like, uh, if for some reason you're ending up on C, not just sitting back on site, 'cause that CS is not going to stall a whole team, but playing early info with your eye, and I mean it's mostly a ranked play, but being able to take insta space and then just run up off it and fast flank, it's not really a great idea, but I mean it can work. And
There.
trap plays through the doors, and with great combo util like a raise nade into C main here or something would go great. But it's just talking again, communication, positioning. You just have to be in the right places and say the right things, and your team just, as long as you know what you're doing and you communicate with your team, they kind of they can play off you and you play off them. Don't just sit silent with all your util. I think people overcomplicate the initiator role, especially this agent. Just play it as you need it. Good luck playing Fade.